As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with Crystal and co-host Gilbert Buchanan. Today, folks, we have an amazing guest who is going to blow your socks off when you hear what she does. She's in the cyberspace industry, and we're going to introduce her in just a little bit. But I just want to let you guys know, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, you know we can be found at youtube.com. And you're going to go to thebusinesszone.net. And I'm sorry, it's going to be the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert.net. And check us out. Make sure you subscribe so you can get our information as we release it. And it's here to help you with your small business. Now, the purpose of the Business Zone is to help small and micro businesses obtain resources for their business, to grow that business, and also to go after government contracts as well as private contracts. We help you to get business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. So that's what we do for you, small business. Now, I know folks, you're listening from all over the world. You're listening from Canada, Venezuela, Ecuador. You're listening from anywhere in Africa, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. We know you guys are listening. So tune in. And a lot of the information we're going to disseminate today from our guest is going to be very helpful to your business. You know, she's in IT space, so she got a lot of that cybersecurity experience. I'm going to learn a lot from her too. So you guys just tune in, okay? And if you're a small business and you'd like to come on a Business Zone, I would like you guys to reach out to us. I'll put my contact information in the chat. But I'd like you to reach out to us and let us know, hey, I would like to be on your show as a guest, and we will definitely put you on so you can share your resources, your information, your products and services that you offer to your customers. Also, if you want to just contribute to the show, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button so we'll notify you every time we release some information or materials or when the show is going to happen. So you can tune in and you can participate. You know, you'll ask questions, you'll provide information that we can use and share on the show as well. So that's what it is. Now, we've been in business here on the Business Zone since 2016. We've got over 800 videos on YouTube. And it's all about small business. It's about contract opportunities, about accounting. And there are times when we have class in session. Class in session means that we teach a class live to show you guys how you can grow your business. If you want to do mergers and acquisitions, if you want to do exit strategies, if you want to learn about certification, government certifications, we do that as well. You want to learn about bookkeeping, your back office, your front office, we teach you those things as well. So that's what we do here on the Business Zone. Now, while we're waiting here for my co-host Crystal to connect, I just want to let you guys know that we have big events coming up in 2026. Most of you are aware that the FIFA World Cup is coming to California and Los Angeles and the US. So we're going to have that event available. But if you're a small business, you might be wondering, how do I contribute to that? How do I participate? Well, there's a lot of opportunities for many types of small business. If you're a vendor, you're a caterer, you sell supplies, resources, you're a consultant, all of those types of services are going to be available. If you are in the IT world, they're going to need connectivity for many of those activity that goes on there at the World Cup. Now, also, I see my co-host is trying to involved in this in the broadcast here. So let me see if she gets connected. Hey, Crystal, are you there?
I am.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, look at that! But you came in under me. So, so you're gonna have to change your picture and
I know. So let me go
go
change
live.
me.
I'm gonna have to change you.
It's like
So, folks,
last week.
my co-host is back. She's here online. So, once she gets her image up online, I'll have her do an introduction of herself so you guys know who she is. Most of you in the community already know who she is. She is executive director of Recycling Black Dollars. She also runs a program called a podcast called Community Briefing every Thursday from 11 to 12. And she's always talking to some of the main community resource providers and trying to get them providing resources to all of you entrepreneurs. So you're a few steps at a game. Just to let you know a little bit about her and her resources and why we started this program, my co-host came up with this bright idea that, hey, I want to do something for small businesses. And then she realized that, I also do some small business stuff. She said, well, why don't we team up on this podcast? And I said, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. So that's how we got started in this, folks. That was 2016. And now we're 2025. So, we're getting ready to do like our 10-year anniversary on this podcast. So she wanted to do this, and this happened around about 2020 when she decided to launch the community briefing, because in 2020 we had that COVID epidemic, and nobody was providing information to folks in the community so they'll know what to do, where to go for resources, and how to keep this thing away from all of us. So my co-host, she took it upon herself to launch other podcast called the Community Briefing, and that's how that got started. She's been bringing folks from doctors, bankers, economic developers, potential mayors, you name it. She's been bringing them on the podcast. Crystal, can you hear us? Crystal?
I can hear you, and I guess you can hear me now, and you can see me. Can you hear
Can
me?
hear you now. Okay, Ray.
Can you hear me now?
Yay, I'm here. You know how
Right. So
computers, technology, Lisa.
I know. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna hand it over to you, co-host. So you can tell them a little bit about yourself, and also tell them how to get logged in and subscribe to the YouTube channel using the QR code. So take it away, Crystal.
All right.
Can
So, hello,
okay.
everyone, and sorry about that. A little technical. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're
Yes,
you're
you
on a little
guys can
delay, but that's okay.
hear me, or you can't?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're on a little delay there, so it's okay. All
Or you
right, she's
frozen?
the
Oh,
okay.
The
So it's
result
on your
of
so it's on your
what
side,
is
co-host. It's on
happening.
your side. Yeah, go ahead and do
that's
your
Yeah,
the
it is.
Wi-Fi.
Hold
I
on.
know exactly what it is. It's the
yeah,
Wi-Fi.
that's the Wi-Fi.
That's the
Our
Wi-Fi.
Okie
expert said it's
dokie.
the Wi-Fi. So what
Yeah.
we're gonna do, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna go ahead, co-host, and just
Go ahead.
introduce our guest. Yes, and then you can just pop back in. So, folks, as I say, we have a very special guest here. She's from the East Coast, just like me. And she's going to provide some amazing information for you guys. She's going to tell you about her business, tell you about her, and tell you about why she's here to help you folks get your business ready and protected so that you can continue to stay in business and generate that revenue. So she's been in business for over 35 years. She's been doing this, and she's helped so many different high profile companies. I'll let her tell you about some of those. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Miss Lisa Brown.
Good afternoon, Coach Gilbert and fellow podcast audience. So thank you for having me today.
You are welcome so much. Thank you for joining the Business Zone, and thank you for agreeing to share some of your resources with the public so that they can know some of what they need to do to protect themselves. There's a lot of cyber activities going on out there in the public. You know, I'm scared myself sometimes. I receive emails I don't know who it's coming from, and I'm just afraid to open them. So maybe you can kind of guide us and say, hey, here's a solution that you guys can do. So tell them a little bit
Absolutely.
about it, Lisa.
Yeah, absolutely. And Crystal, thank you as well for having me today. So really, as Platinum Technology Group, with my experience in the technology industry for over 20 plus years, working with major companies, major clients, I really felt it was important for me as a business owner when I started this company to focus on small businesses because they are one of the top targets for cyber crimes via the FBI. And quite frankly, small businesses really can't afford to be breached and compromised because it takes so long for businesses to turn a profit, not just the revenue, but the profit. That if there was an incident, lots of businesses, small businesses in particularly, have to shut down from an incident. So I really want to focus in our communities, especially because we work so hard to build these businesses. We want them to be around for the generations to come. So, as your cyber doctor here at Platinum Technology Group, one of our main focuses, I want to make sure people understand their vulnerability. So, you don't know what to protect if you don't know where you're vulnerable. And one of the things that we do complimentary is offer a cybersecurity evaluation for all of our customers. But with that being said, I tell people to think of a slice of Swiss cheese. And I know this sounds funny, but if you think a Swiss cheese has all these holes,
Yes.
and I won't say if anyone caught me about 2 weeks ago on Let's Make a Deal, I literally had this analogy not planned, but I say it all the time. So those who know me know I always kind of use this analogy because you have all these holes in a slice of Swiss cheese, and people always think they're good. And with that being said, you got five holes, but you missed one. And that's the very hole that the bad actors go to breach your network. And you think about the world we live in. We have smart devices everywhere. We have them in our homes, whether you have a business, you have Alexa, you have Google, you have your TV, you have smart refrigerators, you have smart stoves. We have smart everything going on now to help us. We love technology. It's our friend, but the bad actors will find a way in everything to do what they do. So with that being said, that one hole is the way through your network where the bad actors, again, your stove, who in the world is thinking your stove is a way that someone can access your network? So that's one way. And you work from home. A lot of people are working from home. So you think about your businesses, you're working from home. We're not in offices lots of times anymore. But even if you are in an office, we have smart devices there as well with small businesses. And so then I also tell people, when you think of your doors in your house, I am from the East Coast, in the Northeast in particularly, we have like the storm door, the screen door, all these layers of doors to help people and to protect ourselves from people gaining access into your home. So if you have the screen door in the wintertime, you have the glass in it. Summertime, you have the screen in it. So that's one layer. So it's not about if someone is going to get into your network, it's when. And just the way the numbers are of all the data breaches that have been out here across this world, we all are on the dark web. So just for people to understand, all of our information is on the dark web. It's about what you can do to prevent people when they get certain information to be able to access it and then be able to use it. So, with that being said, with the doors, if you have that second layer of protection, and that's why I'm going to talk about when people think, oh, I have my email protection set up with, Google or Microsoft. That's just one of the layers. So cybersecurity is not just one thing, it's multiple areas that you have to implement, like your doors, like your windows. You lock your front door, you lock your back door. Some people may forget and leave it open, but then, your upstairs windows, your downstairs windows, you want to make sure you can deter people so they can go next door and not your house. So I say that to say too, because people think, oh, I'm a small business. No, I don't have a lot of money, or I don't have a lot of clients. Well, so here's the thing. It's about the data that people can access. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to be a multi-million dollar company. But if you think of your clients and the information, their information, your information, and the layers that if someone can get a hold of that, how much damage can that do to your reputation, your
I love
Mm.
business? You having to make that phone call to a client to say, oops, I'm sorry, your information was breached. And I don't know if you would say, oh, I didn't take the proper precautions, but for sometimes less than a tank of gas in a month, you can do something to protect your business, your client's information, and your information. So that's why, and I'll go over a couple of things, but then also some of the small businesses are doing government contracts. And
it.
Coach Gilbert, Crystal, a lot of us, we want to get tapped into the government and do business with the government. I've been doing business with the government and selling them software for 20 years. So
Yes.
with that being said, when you do business with the government, you have to make sure that you are taking the proper measures to protect their information. So, with
Right.
that being said, this is really important to all small businesses. Even if you're a one man shop, please don't think that you should not be doing things. There's things that you can implement that will not break the bank, and that's one of the things that, I really want to help small businesses do this at, as little as cost as possible, but definitely protecting them, their clients, and their information so they could be around for decades to come.
I got a quick question for you, Lisa. This is a little outside of what you do, because I know you do it from your side for the small business or mid-sized business, or for a large business if they're your clients, right? Well, what about the credit bureaus like TransUnion, who recently claimed they had a breach, and then millions of our accounts have been either tampered or been exposed to piracy from these crooks? What do we do then? What's going on?
Well, see, I'm glad you asked that question. So even the credit bureaus are getting breached. So with
Mhm.
that being said, there's one thing that I recommend everyone do, like immediately. It takes 5 minutes with all three credit bureaus to lock your credit.
Yeah, I did that.
Locking your credit, and I've done this, like when I really say it's if it can happen, the cyber attacks, cyber breaches can happen anyway. It's even
Yeah,
happened to me years ago, and I pay attention to my credit report. But what happens when you lock your credit?
yeah.
They may have your information, but they can't
Mhm.
do anything with it. So, with that being said, when you lock your credit, literally it takes like 5 minutes that there's a toggle when you go on the main page, Experian, TransUnion, they literally can lock it. And so, what that does, it makes it where they were to go to a bank, they can't open an account, they can't get a
Right.
credit card, they cannot get anything. And this is why. I went to purchase a car last year, my credit, I had this issue. I kept my credit locked. Even when I went to go unlock it
Yeah.
to buy the car, the loan person at the bank put me on the phone with the credit company. And they literally asked me, and they told me, we're going to ask you a host of questions.
Yeah.
And if you ask me a question from when I'm asking you the question, or if you can't even answer it, that you will immediately be hung up on and you won't be able to apply. So, and the type of questions they ask you, only you're going to know. I mean, they were really, really, really deep questions. I mean, they could go back to when you're like 18 years old, like
Oh
that
wow.
when you, so, and that's what happened to me. They literally asked me a question about a place address that I had after I moved out when I was in college. And
Yeah.
I even had to think about it. So, with that being said,
Right.
there's a way for them to do that. But in addition to that, that's why it's really important to be proactive, because again, I just got a letter before too recently about some accounts through the hotels where your information is breached. I mean, we're everywhere. So with that being said, there's a couple of tips I would love to share with everyone
Love it.
write
that
it
could
down.
help not only with your personal life, but definitely with the businesses. So, we get these phishing scams all day long. So think about this. People are all over the world sitting in a room, whether it's in India, Africa, the Caribbean, in the United States, and they spend 10 to 12 hours a day, these bad actors, hoping for the probabilities to work on their side. So if you understand probabilities, that's a whole bunch of numbers, and if they're spending hundreds of them, and they literally have sales, my southern accent kind of came in there, sales of individuals all over the country that work on being able to penetrate to get, think of even a half of percentage of the world, or even the United States will use that, of people. Think of it, the billions of people that are in the United States. If they got even a half of a percent of people to give out their information. So you think of the phishing scams. The text messaging scams are at an all-time high, whether
Mhm.
it's the Amazon packaging, whether it's the postal service, and the holidays are coming.
DHL.
So DHL, the DMV, the easy, the whatever type of fast passes, easy passes, bills. And even I'm seeing Bitcoin scams.
Mhm.
So they are at an all-time high. And something that we can touch on another podcast is how this new technology called AI is even more difficult to decipher if it's real or if it's not, especially when they can take your voice from when you answer a call. So let's say you get a phone call and you don't recognize the number. And I highly recommend people, and this is sad, but if you do not know the number with a name associated with it, don't answer the phone. Let it go to voicemail, because this is what they are able to do. One, they can use phone numbers that look very similar to a number, like, so say your phone number that you currently have. They will take a phone number that looks very similar to your number with one number off or so, and you think it's someone in your region that you may know because it's close to your number. You answer it. With AI, they take your voice and they now can copy. As soon as you pick up,
Mm.
they can take your voice, audio record that. Then, if they have access via Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, through those tools to have access to your contacts, they can then reach out to them with your voice. And it's called a deep fake as well, and mimic you and ask for things, whether it's the grandparents, the older individuals as well. So I really highly recommend, if it's something important, they'll leave a message and you can call them back. So that's one point about that. The emails also, links. Again, with AI, they are very crafty in creating emails that can look exactly like with your business, but pay attention to subtle mistakes. We all need to slow down just a little so we can see those small mistakes that's made, something in the spelling, the grammar. Most people now, with all the devices and things to help us, assist us with our grammar, you really shouldn't find a lot of grammar errors in our typing. In big companies especially, they're not going to be there, but a lot of these scam artists have links for you to click the links, and then through that, they can either do one or two things. They'll upload something for you to fill out to get your information that way, or the link will have malware on it. So, what that can do for companies as well as individuals is then the malware will spread a virus on your system and your network. So for a business, the links can dilute and contaminate all of your information. Or the link, for instance, we all have clients that we want to get paid on. We send a
Right.
link out. It can be a government client, it can be a small, any type of client. And so what they'll do to get even more interesting, they'll send a link to your client, making your client think it's from you to get paid. And they're seeing your company's name, and your client goes to pay them thinking it's you. Well, it's not you, it's them. Now they've received the money, and vice versa. So, one of the things that I highly recommend is cybersecurity awareness training for every type of business. So, with small businesses, through my company, we have ways to, we do training in person, virtual, Zoom, where I can
Mm-hmm.
come along with my engineers and team, where we can do cybersecurity awareness training quarterly. Or there's different ways through some of my partners that I work with where, depending on what we do for you, we can do cybersecurity awareness training. We can do something virtual where, we just make sure quarterly we can send out something where your employees are making sure they're up to date and aware of the latest and greatest cyber breaches, hacks, and things that are going on out there so that, they can stop, slow down, take a minute to do that. And then one last thing I'm going to share, this is big. Since we all work from our devices,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of your employees also have devices, this is a really big scam where there will be an email or a text with your face or something from you stating that I am busy right now, that I need you to go get gift cards for me. And I know the scam has been going on for quite some time, but it's still going on. And think about this with Teams, with video and audio. They literally can take a picture of you from off one of your social media sites and call you where you think it's them. So again, I don't mean to scare people, but I just want people to be more aware of some of the things that's out there. But also, in addition to the cybersecurity awareness training, creating strong passwords is another thing. And multi-factor authentication is extremely important. Nowadays, I think everyone needs to have multi-factor authentication for all their accounts, and this is why. So if someone gets access to your password and tries to log onto your bank account or anything else for that matter, if that link that is supposed to get sent to your phone or your email is not responded to by you, that person can't get access. So
Right.
they can have access to your account, but because they could not put in the code that was sent, they will not get access in there. So I think it's so important that we do that. I know sometimes it's a headache. I know sometimes it takes a minute, but the damage and the cost to your business and yourself for this matter by not taking those steps could be more damage and cost you more than you ever think. So I think that's really important as some of the steps, and then keeping your software and your systems updated. That's important. Updates are important for a reason, through your iPhone, through your laptops, your desktops. So whether it's Google that you have your emails with, whether it's Microsoft that you have your emails with, those companies do patches and updates, but you also, through other software, and I can talk about this later, with other ways to protect your information in addition to just with your email. And note to self, you need more than just having Google and Microsoft, what they do to protect your information. Because if you think about layers, think of your Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi is another way they can access into your network. When I say network, it could be something as simple at home or something as a business. So you have to protect with firewalls and endpoint protection, protect that hardware so they can't get access to it. So then, because if they can get access through that, then they can get access through the email and other things as well. So that's important for that. Um, and we all know, we've heard through the airports, the airlines, some of the cyber attacks that's been happening in airlines. A lot of that happens sometimes with when companies, these big companies, are
Mm-hmm.
doing backups. So a lot of these institutions like banks, they can never be down. So, with that being said, when some of these other software companies are doing the backups for them, that's sometimes where these breaches happen, where they don't check internally with the backups that they're doing before they release the backup nationwide or globally. So, backups are important to catch things as well. And then we talked about protecting your Wi Fi and then securing your mobile devices. So I don't think many people know, depending on your carriers, whether it's T-Mobile, Verizon, whomever,
AT&T.
yes, AT&T, there you have, in addition to when you go on with them, you can actually, through your carrier, go in and get McAfee, get things that can secure your data. Because on the phones, we have all our files, we do our
Right.
banking, we have our customers' information, we have so much. But again, your phone needs to be just as secure as your laptop, your desktop, those devices that you're not sitting in front of, your tablets too.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Can
have
I
we
ask
have
you?
uh, we have a statement in the chat from Jesse Ramos. Said Starbucks coffee shops open internet soon as you walk in. Walk in, your information is compromised and cooked.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? They're absolutely right. So this is what I recommend with when you're on public Wi-Fi's. Please don't do any personal information, addresses, banking. I know people have to use them because it's convenient sometimes, and that goes along with when you're traveling at hotels and airports. And one other thing too, I want to say, in addition to when you're in a Starbucks or when you're in an airport or a hotel, especially hotels, be very careful. But also, our USB ports, when we're in these places, please do not use your USB port
Mm.
to put in to charge your devices,
Mm,
because that's where the malware, they can download the malware in those ports. And
wow,
then when you plug it in, it spreads to your device and
I
gets your
did
information,
not know that.
spreads a virus. Yes. So,
Yeah, I think recently, right, the airport, they were saying
yes.
do not use the airport
Charger.
interlinks. So I always take my own external chargers. So that's the only place I'm charging from is my and I like have three of them. So one run, I got big ones and little ones and small ones and everything, so that I can make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes, and make
Um,
sure you plug it into the socket with those.
right, not into
Not
the not
into,
into the
right, because that's where they spread the malware. In that, if you plug it into where you get the electric current, that's where you're protected.
Okay.
See,
Let me ask Lisa.
this is the business zone, guys. If this is the first time you're checking in, or you may be browsing by and you see this show, we have this every Friday from 3 to 4:30. Lisa Brown is our very special guest today, guys, and she has an amazing company that does this cybersecurity protection for small, medium-sized, and large businesses. So you might be hearing all these great words of wisdom and wondering who is this coming from? Well, it's coming from Miss Lisa Brown. She's got over 35 years in the business. So I just wanted to big that up. And if you guys are not subscribed yet, please go ahead, go to YouTube, type in the business zone. And I'd like you guys to just hit the subscribe button so you can receive announcements as soon as they're released or any type of resources that we provide here on the business zone. Later on in the show, my co-host, Miss Crystal Mitchell, she's going to show you guys a QR code that you can use to just scan with your camera, and you can get signed up. So, Crystal, you did have a question?
Yeah, I do. So Lisa, you've hit on some amazing topics that everyone should be concerned with. So when we're on, let's say, because when we years ago when we first got into the internet, the big wide web, Of course, we had our you had the Microsoft antivirus where and you might have some malware, you might
Mhm.
have whatever you got, like tons of things.
Yeah.
Like I have Norton's on mine, and I make sure I do all my updates, and I have the 360, so it covers everything. I have a VPN. In fact, when I'm in public, when I go to hotels and stuff, I was in New York. I use a VPN if I'm using on any of their anywhere outside of my home.
Yeah.
I use a VPN, and now I'm even going incognito in some places, just that, especially in airports. But I don't I don't use my computer in the airports anymore. My phone. So how often? Because I think some people don't realize how often they should run a scan, and it definitely on an automatic. But how often should someone, whatever antivirus or protection they're using, how often should they run a scan?
So I'm glad you mentioned about the antivirus software out there. So one thing I highly recommend, because the thing about cyber, it's multi-layers in protection. So if you think of from the Wi-Fi, the network, the email, the antivirus scan. So if you have the antivirus scan, that automatically does it for you on a daily, like constantly when you're on the web, it scans to catch things. If you ever haven't been at it, whether you have an Apple or different devices, you'll see sometimes it'll say, we stopped 120 different threats.
Yes.
So it is almost humanly impossible for us to constantly do the scanning. You need the software. There is no way for us to do it ourselves. So if you have the software and pick your poison, I can share with you, I can recommend, I can do things. But whatever the software is, they will constantly do it, so that way they're catching it, and then it's protecting your information as well. But it's definitely important to have that to keep up with the subscription. So that's one thing with all these subscriptions that we have. Don't let
Right,
the
exactly.
antivirus subscription lapse.
Get notification. Yeah, I get notifications from, and I pay for my Norton's yearly, so I can make sure that it's gonna be, if your bank account is compromised, and then you gotta shut everything down. No, I pay for you on an annual basis, so that way, if something happens and I have to get a whole shut down the bank account, and then now your automatics are coming in, and all of a sudden that's the one that doesn't get renewed.
So Tyrone,
Yeah, no.
Tyrone Austin in the chat said, "Are there VPN services you recommend for public spaces?"
Yeah, you know what? There's several that I could recommend. If he wants to follow up to afterwards, I can tell you, because there's a host of them. I mean, anyone that you pick will be fine, but it depends on, like, again, individual folks, the normal ones that you can get through. A lot of your Spectrum and Comcast and those different carriers can provide that as well, which would be good for you. So one thing we do at Platinum Technology Group is we help in various ways for businesses through Spectrum, Comcast, Verizon. They're all my business partners. So again, when you think about the devices or the equipment or the solutions that's out there, pick one, get one, because you need it. And no matter which one you pick, it'll work for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. So, in fact, the one you talked about where they mimic your voice, I was working with. I teach an entrepreneur class for kids, and we had a new technology that a young man had created. AI assisted. It's called Tier One. It's AI assisted, so the kids can put in their questions on what problems need to be solved, and it helps us get through that first part. So the young man, also in tech like yourself, and been in it for years, he was saying that someone mimicked his voice, and his grandmother called him, going, and the grandmother didn't. Someone called the grandmother to say that she was in danger and to send money, and so then the grandmother, he'd instructed her just like you've instructed, I'm sure, every family member in your family. And so she just hung up. And so then she called him, and he said, "No, I didn't call you." And he said, and I certainly wouldn't be, and told him about they were asking for a large sum of money. And he said, and Granny, I would never call you asking for money over the phone. And so she said, well, I guess she recorded it. I guess again, an instruction from him, and she shared it with him, and it was his voice. He don't know how they, obviously, however they got it. But he was saying that was something you had to be careful of, especially with AI.
Yes.
That is one of the major dangers. So I was worried. So when I'm using AI and you can actually have conversation with them, I'm always concerned about, is that a way that can happen as well? Because I usually type in everything versus actually using the audio a version of it. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable there. So what are your thoughts on that? And what do you recommend?
So two things. So you're absolutely right. And that is one of the reasons why my mom, I've shared this with her, they pick up the phone for everything. And I was like, please don't do that. They could take your voice. But with that being said, this is what I recommend for everybody to do with their families, their loved ones. Have a safe word that your family, you come together with a word that only you guys would know. Because again, we are moving so fast, and we know as parents or the kid, if if we receive a call with our child or loved one is in danger or harm or needs something with that, some of us are we don't react the same. So before you do anything, don't rush to respond. Ask them for the safe word if it's someone who's still talking with them. Like, she was smart,
Mm-hmm.
she hung up and called. That's the second thing. So two parts. Have a safe word for the family, and my kids and I, we have one to know. And then also hang up the phone and call whoever they're saying they have and verify with them, because 9 times out of 10, it's a scam. I mean, 99.9% of the time, it is a scam.
You're
So,
right.
so those are the two recommendations on that point. And then the next one, with this great thing called AI that we have here. So the thing about AI, and this is why I know this will be a great next podcast to educate people around AI, at GPT, and we call it the governance and risk and the policies around it, but how you can protect yourself when you're using this in AI, in some of the chats, Gemini, all of these things, in your settings, in the Microsoft, Google. There's where you can go in and toggle it under administrative, where it can protect some of your private. Okay, I'll say this: don't put any of your private information ever on there. But there's ways that you can protect it from certain things being put out publicly when you are using that. So that is the way
Okay.
that you can help that. But again, once your voice is out there in this world of just where we're at, a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
there's not really a way to protect it, but there are things in place administratively, like I said, in the Microsoft. When you think of your Gmail or your Microsoft Teams, if you go under the settings and administrative areas, there's ways to go down to change, make sure those settings are set where you're not doing where it's not open. So open
Okay.
source is where everything that you put out, and this is a thing with Chat GPT, when we use
Mm.
these AI tools,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the settings right, it is open source. So everything you put in those things goes out into the world of AI. It's a learning language model that only gets smarter based on what we put in it, and nothing is
Right.
secure in terms of, unless you have something set up in certain types of tools where it will not share your information. But that is how it gets smarter. So it takes everything that's been put in, put in, and it learns off of that. And then, so for instance, if you put, let's say, proprietary information out there about your business, and somebody else who may be your competitor or just doing something similar, based on all the millions of times or things that you've interacted and people, it literally can pull your information and now share it with someone else.
Wow. Yeah, AI is yeah, you are I'm always cautious about what I'm saying, and I've actually taken classes so I can understand how to do the settings on the backside.
Yes.
And make sure those set up. So I've taken, a number of those courses that go through, there's so many of them nowadays. So to me, that's the one way I can protect myself is understanding how the software really, really works, versus just jumping in there and thinking it's just free range. Another thing is, so when after it runs a scan and it says your information is out there on somebody's network, the dark web,
The dark web.
and right, and so Norton's, of course, will give you all the numbers, and then they'll say you want us to go and take care of it. Of course, there's a cost for that, but is that possible to erase yourself from the dark web?
So the answer is that, and our company offers a different type of identity protection. So let me say this about Experian, Norton, those services
Uh
where
huh.
most of them are just notifying you, all of them, unless you're with a deep red team that's cyber hackers, and you only get to work with companies like mine, where one, they will make you aware that your information is in the dark web. But right now, everybody's information is on the dark web. I'm
Is
being
on the
serious
dark web.
about that. So they
Okay.
will let you know when a new has occurred. But again, going back to protecting, locking it, but there is not a way to scrub. There is a way to scrub. Those are different types of services to be able to remove their, they go very deep. And again, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cyber companies, your Experian, those companies, they're not going to be able to do that. So they're
Okay.
not going to be able to remove it. If there is, that's something that's a whole nother deeper type of service that true cyber companies offer. And I work with my team who has worked for the Justice Department, making sure security. And when we think a big picture of information out there, like hackers that have worked for them to make sure, but that's a whole nother deeper layer of cyber technology that's needed to do that, because it's literally a constant thing between Gmail. So there's one thing that you can do though, and I've done this personally. So if you think of
Mm-hmm.
Google, a lot of our information is out there from, if you think of just Googling a person's name or something like that, there is a way to go to Google and ask them to remove your personal information. So there is a
Oh,
way,
okay.
and they can also alert you as to when it pops up. So that is something that they can do, but it is definitely, far as the dark web, that stuff is sold so much so quickly. And by the time Norton, Experian, they realize they've been breached, that stuff has been out for there for months. Your stuff is sold so quickly. The stuff is sold within minutes to seconds on the dark web before we even realize there is a breach.
Before
And
you recognize it.
yeah, and quite frankly, and I shared this too, that a lot of times that before a company, we are aware about a breach, this bad guys have been in the network and our systems for 90 to 120 days before a company. So you think of last year when a lot of these, the Optum was the prescription company
Mm-hmm.
last March, where probably everywhere where we all get prescriptions from in the country was breached. Um,
Wow.
it took them over 30 days to pay the ransomware to have them stop selling our information on the dark web. But here's the thing: 90 to 120 days before they realize they have been breached, those criminals were in their network. So I tell people 90 to 120 days in your, and I said this too, in your house, your attic, a closet, a room that you never use,
Wow.
where you don't even realize someone is in there watching, going through it, all of your stuff before you're aware. So
Mm-hmm.
for businesses, that's why it's so important to be proactive in making sure you have all of these different layers in place. So they're like, oh no, this is too hard. We're going to go to somebody that's easier to do. Because then now it takes way longer. It takes another probably 60 days to be able to recover, and even longer for small businesses from that. So it really
Yeah.
takes up a lot of time and a lot of money. And the average cost to a small business owner is between $16,000 $20,000 to that it takes to to recover from that if they're able to stay in business afterwards.
Oh wow.
Lisa,
With all, go ahead, Gilbert.
what phone number can we put in here so folks can contact you?
Oh yeah, so my number where you can reach me at is 310
Mm-hmm.
299
Mm-hmm.
6608.
Yes, and the company is Platinum Technology Group
Plat
LLC,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
the expert that we're speaking to, folks, her name is Miss Lisa Brown. So check out the chat. I just put her contact information in there. I also put her email. So please go ahead and reach out to her if you have any questions about your company and any question that's been bugging you. I got lots of questions that's been bugging me because I get these emails all the time, from PayPal and from the Social Security Administration. The only reason I know some of these are not legit, Social Security is a government agency. So at the end, if they don't have .gov or .org, then I don't take them seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
And
same
that's
thing with the
important.
IRS.
Yeah.
IRS is not gonna call you. They got too much to do. Right now, nobody's calling you because all of them been shut down.
Yeah.
But so
You
if you
got
getting
that
calls
right.
right now, that is all fake.
So you know what, but
But
you made a really good point about that. That right now with the government shutdown, you wouldn't get a call anyway, but you sure enough will not be getting any communication
Right.
via
right now,
text,
Or
via phone.
email.
No, the IRS will send you letters. They will send you certified letters.
Yeah.
They do not call you at
Right.
all. I mean, they don't even call until you got a check sitting. So,
right? Exactly.
like
or,
they
or
get that check
or
because they'll
or
keep
better
it.
yet, they don't call you before they put a lien on your bank account. So if they ain't calling you then, they ain't gonna call you for
And you know
nothing
what? You're
else.
right about that, Crystal. They don't even, they no courtesy calls. The
No
government does not do.
courtesy calls to give you
You,
time enough to move your money.
I got a call on the phone, right? Some guy with a strange accent saying, "Hey, Mr. Buchanan, we got a warrant for your arrest. I'm calling from the Social Security Administration Department, and we see where your Social Security number was used, and you're a criminal, sir. We're gonna have to come arrest you." I said, "Come on down."
Right? Yeah, try it.
Right. No, I got one better than that. Someone called me, we have the police scam that they
Yes.
call you and say they want you to donate to the police,
Yes.
and then they're asking you for your card number. And I'm like, what, you think I'm stupid or are you stupid to be asking me over the phone, Mr. Police?
Right. And when
For me
do
to
the
give
police call you and ask you for, money? I mean, that is so old. Those days are so over. And well, I won't get into like that storyline with the police. But no, they are not calling asking us to donate money to their causes. But we do definitely have to be so careful about that with
yeah.
emails, with the government people pretending they're the postal service again. But a lot of those things, they will reach out to you by mail, and the insurance companies as well. So people, please slow down. Do not give out your
Yes.
information. And one of the things also I recommend companies is to have a plan, have a cyber plan before one happens. You guys have my
Right.
information now, so definitely you can reach out to me. But have a plan. Really think about some of your goals and what would you do, or what do you need to do, and think about your business and your information, and really, what you would want to do. And again, the cost of not doing anything. And I know
Anything.
we're
Right.
all pinching a dollar. Times are, tight for a lot of people, especially small businesses. But I say this, look at what you can give up. If it's I'm gonna just use a really simple sample. I am frugal when it comes to my coffee. I love a good cup of coffee, but I have a
Hmm.
great fresh brewed brewer at home where I could spend $15 and get some fresh grounds from Costco or
Right.
somewhere, and then save that dollar a day. Or wait a minute, coffee is what, $5 a day? More than that, depending
Right.
on what you get from a business owner. Right now, think about how you can save over here to then allow yourself to be able to put the money to really where it can benefit your business and protecting your business, your information. It is not an option. This is just real talk about, being smart about your business, protecting your business. That if you can save here to do something where, again, I live in California. So it's like when we talk about the cost of filling up your tank, less than that in a month to save, to implement some,
Yeah.
guidelines, procedures. And when we do those evaluations, sometimes lots of times we found out our clients are doing things that they only need to make small adjustments here and there to really protect themselves. And it's really even less than that tank of gas a month. But with that being said, it's something that will save you, just like health. You want to do things to
Right.
prevent yourself from having a heart attack
Exactly.
that can save you in the long run. So that goes the same with your business.
And to be knowledgeable, to get information. I know, just with, especially in this political world we're living in, you're getting all kinds of crazy calls from everywhere because everybody's asking for money, and when there's a crisis, everybody's asking for
Yep.
money, like during the fire. So you have to be, and that 50 over crowd, boy, they are just too damn they're trusting forever. Anyone call. So this is a story. My sister tells it better than I do, but her husband tends to be one of those very trusting individuals. So he's on the phone and she's sitting next to him, and something in his bank card has been compromised several times because of this. So he'll get on the phone and someone will call him, and then he'll start giving out his information. She's sitting there going, "What the heck are you doing?" She hang up the phone, hang up the phone. And he said, "I'm talking, hang up the phone." She'll just go over and slam the phone down. And she's like,
He needs to stop answering the phone.
"What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm glad my credit's not tied into yours." You'll tell anybody everything. So,
That's
but that
funny.
So
but that is hilarious between the two of them. But at the beginning of the year, actually, it's 3 or 4 times a year, AARP puts out one in their newspapers or in their little newsletters
Yep.
that they send out. They put down, and sometimes the pages, it's like 4 pages. This year has been 4 pages
Yeah.
of scams that are going on right now that you need to be aware of, and to make sure you don't do A, B, C, and D, and E, and F, and G.
Yes.
And so it's to the point that I have my email set up so I can read the first 2 lines.
Yep.
I don't answer phone calls. If you not, and when someone does call me, first of all, I have them in when I take the contact information, I put their names to it so I know exactly who's calling. So I get a list of phone numbers that I don't know, and therefore I do not call you back.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I tell you to text me first if it's someone that
That you don't know.
right,
Yep.
because I may not even listen to the email, but you better text me if you really want me to answer you. But don't just send me stuff. Um, and Google just said something that is very important, and I've seen this happen to 3 of my clients. I'm in the accounting business. So I teach my clients how to set up their accounting, a QuickBooks software and accounting software. And I also am a business coach. So I always tell my clients, as convenient as it is for Cash App and Venmo and Zelle and all of those guys, those are not business outlets.
Yep.
There is no protection behind those. And I had a client lose $27,000 using Zelle, and
Wow.
so and the banks, that's coming through Wells Fargo,
Yeah.
and it's happening so often that they're not recovering your money for you.
Right.
And I told them, use QuickBooks. Okay, so what? You're paying $5
That's what I
for.
use. I use the QuickBooks and that, exactly. People, I mean, people, the fact that we live in a world where instant satisfaction. Everybody wants
Yeah.
everything right away. And I get it. We all want our money.
Right.
However, and giving or paying out, you do have to be careful when with Zelle, Cash App. I don't even use like, unless I know you and receiving, that's the only, but business, you need to be using those tools for a whole bunch of reasons. And of course, you know that from an accounting standpoint,
Right.
to be able to track your
Right.
money at the end of the year where all the
Right.
money is
Exactly.
going. But yes, you definitely have to be careful because newsflash, that money is not recoverable. Once it is sent, the banks are not able to recover it for you. And we just have to slow down and
Right.
do things or get the credit card, have them pay
And
via credit card and pay the whatever. But it's much better than the feeling. And who wants to lose that money? Even
that's
$1,000
a
is too
lot of. I
much.
mean, $500 can if a
Exactly.
small business that can break a business. So I tell them don't use those. You can use PayPal. You can set up Stripe. You can do what is authority.net. If you have to pay a service fee, like you said, that $5 or that $10 is a whole lot better than them taking thousands of dollars out of your bank account that you can't recover, and that actually could cause you to shut your business down.
Right. Because
Depending on your
not only that, it could be a domino effect for your business. And you just said something that hit home. If they do that and they get access to your bank account information, now that's a whole nother area of how you're compromised, where they can get access to your
right.
money. So people, we really have to be careful and how we're moving about, how we're transacting with people, and then also who transacting with and trusting. But you know what they say, trust and verify. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
So
trust and verify.
yes,
Yeah,
it is
and have your
definitely.
bank. The bank that I bank with, it sometimes is annoying as heck because they'll decline something,
Yep.
and because if it's not coming through that they see regularly, they kind of know what my patterns are,
Yep.
and then they'll text me and say, "Hey, did you just do this?" And then I'll have to go back and do my research, and then if they say no, I didn't, then everything gets shut down. Um,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
when I go out of town for all my cards and everything, I go to the bank. I don't call on the phone. I go to the bank and say, look, I'm going to be out of the country for these days, for this number of weeks. And these are pretty much the bigger transactions that I'm using. This is the hotel I'm going to be staying at. This is the airline. And then probably some Ubers in there. And then I might use it for whatever. But I'm in this country at this time and this one and this one. So when I went to 2 years ago, I went to Cairo. I'm on the plane, and while I'm on the 14-hour flight, someone is using my card in DC. So when I got to Cairo, I was in the store and I got a message from the bank to say, "Hey, there's something going on. Were you in DC? That wasn't on our list." And I said, "No, I wasn't in DC." And so I went on and I saw where they did it. So they said, "Well, here's what we're gonna do. You're out of the country. I'm gonna shut it down for right now because I know the people at my bank. So that means you do not bank it somewhere where you're invisible."
Right.
And he said, I'm gonna shut it down. You get to an ATM. I'll open it up for you to take out enough money that it will take care of you in the case that there's some incidentals. And then after that, when you get back, come back home, come into the bank immediately, follow the report, and then we'll put your money back in that day. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so you do need to be, know who your bankers are and make sure that you have a good relationship and that they are watching everything that comes in and out of your bank account. And they require you every 90 days, 90 days to change your password. It's
Yes.
annoying as hell, but it's
So speaking of that subject, great segue. So two
okay.
things. Yes, with the banks, there is on the apps that you can set to when you're traveling. You can let them know where you're at. You can give them a time frame so they
Okay.
know. And definitely, Wells Fargo is great at this. Chase is great at this. I love it when they will block a purchase because I'd rather you block a purchase than let a purchase go through and just have
Yes.
me go through and then release it. But with that
Right.
being said, when you let them know and it's there, they definitely will make sure and it protects you. But then also with that being said, um, when oh my God, I lost my train of thought. We were segueing into what did I say?
From the bank being very cautious on your side and monitoring and making sure if they're sending anything, even a small amount. I
Yep.
mean, even if it's the $9.99 amount, if it's somewhere with a funny name that they've never seen come to your
Right.
account.
So, oh, it was the password. So here's the thing with
Okay.
passwords. Passwords are the 65% of breaches happen because of bad passwords.
Wow.
So we need to change them every 90 days, but here's something that I know you guys are going to hate to hear. We need at least like 23 to 26 characters in passwords. So I highly recommend, so think about this as it's about probabilities and it's about algorithms that these
Okay.
guys use to constantly, they actually have devices and software where they're actually,
Yeah, I've seen the
okay.
devices. Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, think about probabilities. I went to, you know what, I never thought in my life where a college class, my freshman probability has played a part in my life so much in the last couple in my adult years. But with that being said, if you think of 26 different characters and how probability works, the hackers are going to go to somebody that has 4 passwords, 6 passwords, because now they do not want to be bothered with trying to figure out all the different ways, the probabilities of hacking your password. But in addition to that, the special characters, explanation point, money, dollar, like all of those different things, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and all of that. But an easy way to do that, because you're like, oh my God, what is a 26, 23 character password? Think about phrases to help you remember or something like that. So that's something that, I want to share with people. Updating your passwords, changing them. And I know it's a pain in the butt because we use passwords everywhere. Don't use the same password for everything. Please, people, do not do that. Because if they
Yeah.
get one way, they can get it everywhere else. So
Another right.
do not do
Exactly.
that. And one thing I'm really wary of, I know some people may not like this. I know it's easy and it's simple, but those password keys that saves all your passwords on your computer. So here's the thing. If somebody hacks into your system, your browser and computer, and your password key is on there, they can get that too. Just FYI. Now it's different
Okay.
if it's through forensics, where they need your thumbprint or something like that. But
Okay.
so that's something, and I know it's like, okay, what do you do? There's different ways to do that, but that's something you have to be mindful of if you save all your passwords on your computer, then if they get in your computer, they're going to get all your passwords.
So
Okay.
Guru in the chat said her face is purple crying because she was listening to the comedic way that these guys try to get us to give our password information. I'm the Social Security Department, and we're looking for a fraud on your account, Mr.
Yeah.
Buchanan. So that's one of the things that's cracking her up. And she also said that one means of payment that she uses is PayPal instead of the Zelle and all these. I use PayPal too because
So
the
do I.
thing is, it's insured,
Yeah.
and if something goes down, they'll give you your money back, and they'll do an
And they always will give. So if I'm shop, yeah, when I shop online, and in fact, I just told my sister this the other day. And here's another new scam that even the reputable places are using is if you're not, as you said, if you're not slowing down, you buy something, especially people buying on TikTok and Instagram because those are marketplaces now, Facebook. I always then go and see if the product is on Amazon, and then I use PayPal to buy it. And if I don't have that option, then if I'm going to use it, I use my PayPal account because yes, I've called them many a time. Said, look, they're giving me a hassle, giving my money back. And they're like, no problem, we just shut it down here and we'll do the investigation. And then so So go through that, like you said, that third layer
Yep.
to keep you from keep them from getting to your bank account and your card, your credit card. So they
Yes.
don't have that information, so you don't have to put that information in. Set that up on the PayPal side, and I use the business account
Yeah.
PayPal.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what is funny when you mention good thing, this social media shopping, I'm probably one of the few people that's not on TikTok. However, Instagram and Facebook is always somebody selling something, there's a link. Here's some more advice with that. I know there's lots of times, especially us ladies, we see a cute outfit, some jewelry, some shoes, we want it. So please, and please do not buy anything directly while you're on Instagram or Facebook. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do. If you really love this, you go out of the site, go to Google, and pull up their website to shop directly from the website. So, two things. There's one of these sites on Facebook that's out there. I forgot, it starts with S, I think. And it's a scam. Several of them are scams because I'm like, oh, that's a cute outfit. Let me go outside of it, Google it. So, a couple of things that happen when you do that. One, you'll find out from the lock that's at the top of your screen if it's an authentic website. And then when you purchase things, there needs to be a secure lock that is in the checkout that you will see to know that company is a legitimate company that is, where there's no scam. But then also buy it that way, because if it's real, you're safe. But when you buy directly from Instagram, Facebook without double checking about check and verify, then lots of times you get taken for the scams and there's no way to recover your money. So that's a tip I definitely want to share with everyone. Because I think, is this site called Me or something like that? I've heard.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that a lot of people are shopping, they see stuff online. So that's kind of a
Yeah, I don't do
tip.
Tumi at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
never
If I'm
been
gonna
there.
use, and in fact, I've never done, but if I did, I'd go buy one of those green dot cards, put money on it, and that's kind of the other thing that I do. I'll use one of those you buy in the supermarket cards. You put your money on it, and then once the money is gone, I mean, you spend it for that item, and then they can use that card number if they want, but it's not. There's no money. You're filling it up, so it's just all these little safety things you have to do. Something I was going to share that this morning I was talking to my daughter, and she called. Well, she's been calling me for the last couple of days, and I've been traveling. So this morning she woke me up, and I was like, "Okay, what is it?" She goes, "Let me tell you what my husband just did." And I went, "Oh boy, okay, here we go." He was getting stars like 2 weeks ago, and now he's back in the doghouse. So I called her one day, and she didn't call me back. And now she lives in Cairo, so I called her, and I can only talk. Best way for us to talk is through Messenger.
Right.
And I've encrypted my messenger so that no one can get into that. So she says, "Remember that day my phone rang?" And he says, "Why is your phone ringing on my phone?" I said, "Yeah, I remember that day." And they went back and forth on it. And so she says, "He actually changed my password." I said, "What?" She said, "He changed my password. And so now every call I get, every message I get, he can see it." She goes, "And I don't remember my password, so I can't change it." I said, "Oh, yes, you can, baby girl.
Oh,
Let me tell you what you need to do." And I said,
absolutely.
"And here's the steps." And then when it gets to that, shut down your Facebook on all the devices right now.
Yep,
And
that's what you
then
do.
they have to allow it back in order to do it, and use a complicated password that he doesn't know, because he probably what he did was use, because it's the baby. You probably used your baby and
Yep.
her birth date and all that kind of stuff. He knows that because that's what he using. So he did the exact same thing. So you make it more complicated and shut it down. And then, because she said she asked him, and of course he said no. I said, "Okay, well then don't worry about that. Do what I just told you to do, and then come back and tell him, all right, now you can no longer have access to my."
Yeah. No, and you know what? On that note about our social media, Facebook, Instagram, just in general, that you definitely need to update your password. So think about this every time. And nowadays, you're accepting friend. I don't like to accept a friend,
No.
accept that unless I've met you. But
Yeah.
then also because a lots of times people that we know their accounts have been hacked, and now you're seeing, okay, and I thought I was friends already with this person. Why are they?
Yes.
That's because their accounts have been compromised. And then
Right.
Messenger. So be careful. I keep my settings private on Instagram and my Facebook, where I have to accept it, but we really have to be careful in that aspect of like it's a shared or the husband knowing. But I see things where somebody's trying to access my Instagram, somebody's logging on, but with that two-factor authentication, they can't get past anything, because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to respond to that email because that wasn't me trying to log into my
Right.
Instagram or Facebook page. So
Right.
you definitely have to be careful with the devices. And if we share the subscriptions, Prime, Netflix, all those things, I know my kids are still riding my Prime, but again, it's important for us to have the two-factor authentication because it really makes a difference as well.
Yeah, and I was gonna.
Guru in the chat said she said she got scammed by Nigerian scammers, and they were even screaming at her on the phone. Sorry, Guru, I'm so sorry. We're giggling right now, but we're not laughing.
I'm sorry, it's not funny,
We're
but
not
that's
laughing at you,
horrible.
Guru.
Well, the Nigerians are really talented
They're
at this stuff.
blatant.
They've been doing.
They're blatant, man.
Yeah, they're blatant.
They don't
There's
play.
a movie. There's a movie. It's called Beekeeper. I think it's
Yes,
on.
exactly. It's on.
That
It's
is
on
the
Prime.
prime.
Yes.
That movie is like how fast they got that woman's information.
Yep.
And so you got someone, you having problems on your computer. You call
That's a key
somebody and you
thing.
say, right, and you just let them into your computer, and in that moment.
So here's the thing on that note. I was going to say
Okay.
that because this happened to my aunt, older woman, 70 something. So you can't get Google, Microsoft, you can't get them on the phone. They're definitely not going to just send you an email saying, oh, something's wrong with your computer. There's a problem. We need to go in and give us live access to your computer. Never,
Mm-hmm.
ever do that, period, because they don't do that. They will never do that at all. It's always a scam, and it happens so quickly you don't realize it. And once you do that, they have access to everything in your computer. Everything in your computer.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they went through and they had Gilbert, you have to watch it. They were in a boiler room,
yeah.
and they had someone go look for the insurance. You go over here, go to the bank accounts. You go over to the credit cards. You go over here to the stocks. I mean, they had people that were like, and then they're like, ready, set, go.
Yep.
And in 3 seconds, they
It was
had
gone.
and wiped this woman out.
Yeah,
Those
Felicia,
are
yeah.
trained scammers, man.
Well,
Right,
they're
it's
like
with
that.
Felicia.
It's a $1 billion industry. And Felicia Rashad was the person that played that.
Right. And she was also, and here's the other thing.
Yeah, I
So she was
remember.
managing, she was managing a
It was a nonprofit.
nonprofit,
Yep.
and their funding, their foundation account.
Yeah.
And again, she had access to it. It wasn't her account, but
Yeah.
she had, because it's your business,
Right.
it's your clients. Like I do QuickBooks, so I have access to my clients,
Yeah.
which is why I use QuickBooks, because they have like an encryption system that's like Fort Knox.
Right.
And so, but in seconds, so they took all of her stuff and they took everything out of the foundation.
Yeah.
The movie is eye-opening.
Yeah, it is. And it was over $2 million. And Jason, was it Jason?
Oh, Jason, yes.
He was in
and
it,
he
but
was just that quiet little man, and he got on it, but it was like, oh my God, this is scary.
Yeah,
So
that's real talk.
I want to do a quick correction here. I was announcing the chats and I said Guru. Her name is not Guru, it's Gugu.
It's Gugu.
Okay,
Gugu.
So Gugu, my apologies. I'm messing up your name, butchering it, and calling you Guru. but it seemed like you're a guru within yourself, though. So my apologies, Gugu. Um, the thing that you guys are talking about, the beekeeper, that movie, that is, I've seen it. It was amazing. I didn't even remember about it, co-host. So thanks for reminding me. Now I'm gonna watch it
Everybody.
again. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch
I
it
think I was
again.
on a plane when I saw it. I had to come back home and just really get into it because I was like, what? And then to watch how they went about doing it. And then I think there's a couple of movies on Netflix with the Nigerians, and that's a
Yes.
business for them,
Oh,
man.
that's
They go out and
good
recruit
business,
people.
man.
Yeah, no, it's a real
Is that
thing. That is a real thing. They had, I don't know if it was Dateline or 2020, where they literally show it is like if you think of a drug cartel,
Yeah,
or
yes,
they literally are across the world in different
yeah.
cells in different locations, and they
International.
have this head person that's based somewhere else, and they have teams of people. That's why it's so aggressive, and that's why we are seeing it like that, because they are
yeah,
12 hours a day, different parts of the world, actively trying to tap into whoever is weak enough or busy enough that slips up and
right.
does that. That is why they are so persistent with this.
And I think the Russians are really persistent with they're really high level
Yep.
as well. So you just got to be careful and like you said, Lisa, take your time to put these things in place. And yes, it's irritating as heck, the two factor, the authorization codes and have all of that and write your codes and down in a book that you keep hidden in your house
Yep.
somewhere. Just don't forget where you've hidden it. But let me ask this one question. So, and yes, we're gonna have to have you on quarterly to give us updates for all the crazy stuff that's going on
Oh, I would
out
love it.
there. So, when like your like Amazon, I think it was Amazon's been breached.
Hmm.
Bank accounts
Yep.
been AT&T was recently breached. Kaiser was breached. So how do you know? Like AT&T has I think they have a what do you they were sued.
Right.
So now a class action suit.
Right.
So now they're saying you can, and they with it's a large sum of money um, for everyone that's been hacked. But how do you know that you've been hacked, especially since you're already on the dark web or wherever
Right.
we are anyway? How do you know that?
So legally, these companies are legally obligated. They send out letters to you. They will send out
Yes.
when you that I mean, they send you, and they do. They send you letters, and they'll tell you the date. They'll tell you roundabout. And you'll know what company. And a lot of them also, when it happens, they'll do a free protection or free something to help you with your credit. But again, everybody who is watching this, go to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax,
And lock
and
everything
log into
down.
your account and lock your account. And that way, not if, but when something
Yeah.
happens, even when they get your information, they already have it 9 times out of 10, it's been sold, that they can't do anything with it. So that is something that for you to be aware of. And one other thing I tell people, look at your credit report. I mean, depending on what I
Yeah.
was doing, I bought a house, was buying a car the year before last, depending every month, every couple of I won't even say every couple of months. It's so easy to go look at your credit once a month, not necessarily, and your bank accounts. Not once a month in your bank account. You don't need to be rich to check your bank account every day or have a
Oh
lot of
no, I
money.
check my bank
Right.
2-3 times a
Right.
day.
Because this is what they do. They start out with a very small amount. It could be 2 cents,
Yeah.
2 cents, 5 cents, because they're banking on you literally not paying
Not
attention
looking.
and seeing that. And guess what? I call myself a cash cow, cash king. Like cash is king, because if you're spending cash, first of all, you know how much is coming out of your pocket because you can see it.
Right.
But when you're swiping, swiping, and swiping, you lose
You
track of it.
don't.
So
You
with
lose
that,
track of
yeah.
it.
So you got to check your bank accounts and check them every day. Check them just to check, because that's when you're able to catch the small. Even you're like, wait a minute, 25 cents. What? Where is this at? I
Where'd
was
that go? What did I do with
right.
that?
I was able to catch something on if it was PayPal, but it was a swipe, and it was men's shirts. And my son is grown and he's somewhere across the country and I don't shop for him. And it was a men's store. And I was like, I didn't buy that. So they were able to catch it and
Yeah.
through PayPal, but still check your accounts, bank account, check, freeze your credit or lock it, no, freeze it. And because locking and freezing are totally two different things. Freezing is
Right.
and then check your credit often to make sure you're not seeing something on there that's not you. And it could be something like a utility bill. Those some bills are easier to get access to. Sorry, some lines of credit and things are easier to get access to than like a credit card or actually a purchase. But check the utility bill, check and see, because I noticed once, and this is when I said a couple years ago, I had a Verizon wireless, and I was like, I've never had Verizon wireless at all
Mm.
for my account, and I called them, and especially since I just bought a house, I knew there was nothing on my credit because I just bought a house.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so I knew I didn't have any bills. So we have to be proactive as well.
I quite agree with you because those are how those things. So if you're in business, as we are talking about small business owners, that's why you have an accounting system, and that is why you reconcile every month. So because if you are reconciling and you see some suspicious something, you can call the bank and get that fixed like immediately, as opposed to the time that you look at your bank account is when it's time to do taxes. That's too
Yep.
late.
Yes, exactly.
That's too late. So
Exactly.
if you're maintaining an accounting system and reviewing every transaction, knowing when your check's clear, if somebody's holding out a check, if you're sending things by check, this is what you do. You're supposed to do as a financial management of your business, because you go to apply for a business loan, you go do some at least some big equipment, or you actually are getting ready to do business with someone and they run credit and then they see all this stuff. It's too late to fix it then. It's too late.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
But
so
you know something else too that you were when you were talking about like purchases and transactions, it's really important, especially a Visa swipe versus a credit card swipe versus a debit card swipe. The debit card, you don't get that protection like you do if there was a fraudulent purchase or something like
right.
that. The Visa, it's more protected. But no, there's definitely a lot of things for businesses. Again, I'm more than happy. Everyone has my number. And Gilbert, the website is actually Platinum Technology GRP.com. It's Platinum Technology Group, but definitely for anyone would love to set up a complimentary rant cybersecurity evaluation to kind of help see where businesses security posture is to help them to make sure they're good and that they can protect themselves.
Definitely,
Awesome.
definitely. And for those of you who are just tuning in and you're watching this amazing show, this is the Business Zone with my co-host Crystal Mitchell and myself, Coach Gilbert Buchanan. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And as we're approaching the end of this broadcast, I want to ask our special guest, Miss Lisa Brown, this one last question. Now, as a cybersecurity guru, Miss Brown, I want you to tell me this. What is there a software out there that you would recommend that folks use to kind of protect themselves? Because I know there's a few out there, and I've been kind of pondering in my head which one I wanted to use. There's Guardio, there's Aura, and there's Incogni. Those three. But I don't know if there's one that you use that you'd want to recommend. So, what do you say?
So this is what I recommend. First of all, have a trusted technology advisor like myself for your business is
Mhm.
important. Even if you're a small business, we also offer virtual IT teams, like virtual.
Okay.
So instead of having an internal paying a salary for an IT specialist, we call it
Yeah,
fractional as a service to use someone that
yeah,
can help you with all of this. So here's what I truly believe. On that question of what software I think would be best, it really depends on the business.
yeah.
So it depends on the business. There's something out there. I work with some of my partners, for instance, like TPX, I'm giving them a plug in terms of that and working with managing my whole stack. Because as a business owner, that's not your lane. You know what you specialize in and what you're good at? The thing that you're running your business in.
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm not good at accounting. I use QuickBooks. I have a tax advisor. We have lawyers for legal. We have IT people for that. There's so much. And I'm saying this because it's so much. But definitely, if someone wants to call me, talk with me, I can learn more about your business, what you're doing, the volume. And that's why I'm saying it's so many different solutions out there,
Yeah.
but it really depends on the business because then you want to make sure they have what's right, a right fit for their company.
Okay. Well, we're definitely going to do that. And again, Miss Lisa Brown is going to be a popular guest on our show. So she made her debut today, folks.
She's
And
awesome. Just
she knocked
Thank
it out
awesome.
of the
you.
park.
I had
She
so
knocked
much
it out of the
fun.
park.
This was
We love her.
fun.
We love her. So we're gonna make sure, like my co-host said, we're gonna make sure she comes in every quarter, right? Is it every quarter or every
Yeah, I
2
mean,
months?
we'll work with her calendar, and if she got something she wants to share, yes, we will bring her in.
Bring her
I'm
in.
going. Yes. When I do our newsletter this week, I will. If you would like for us to, if you have something that you want me to add in there, I'm gonna use make us shorts out of this, and then I'll send that over to you as well, so you can use that on your social media. But I'd like to, in our newsletter, I can add on an area from the cyber guru, and then put your information in there, because I think big companies worry about cybersecurity all the time. Little companies think that they're too little and that it
Yep,
never happens, and that's who it is actually happening
exactly.
thing to,
Yeah,
right?
because the big companies can afford to pay thousands. They have somebody sitting in there, and they don't even bother with it. So there is something at the small business level that's just right for small businesses, so that they can do what they do best, making the money, doing their business, and then that way they can have one less thing to worry about because they know at least they're set up internally with their systems, so they can be protected. So it's really important.
Yeah, so I'd love to do. I mean, we'll talk, but I'd love to do that, and then in your company, they can go to your website and get more information and sign up, because I think it's very, very important,
For
especially
sure.
right now.
Yeah.
Everything, we're just in
Everything's
so much
crazy.
danger from all angles, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I
And the
receive
holidays are
so
around the
many
corner.
emails every day, and I don't even know some of the folks, and I'm just afraid to click on emails because, as you know, yeah,
Gilbert has become the anti-tech guy because he's afraid of everything. He ain't gonna do nothing on the internet because he's terrified of everything
now
being
that we
on the.
know, we have a protector in Miss Lisa Brown. Now we're gonna have her verify everything before we use it.
Yes, you will be prepared. We definitely look, it's being proactive is key. You're
Yeah,
armed with power.
he is funny. He's like afraid to use AI because like, but Gilbert, you got to use AI.
Well,
You
Gilbert,
just
and you know what? When we do our AI session,
Yeah,
that's one thing I want people to know. Don't be afraid to use it. I will help show people how
yeah,
they can use AI to like 100 times increase their revenue and things of
that's
that nature,
true.
become
My
more agile, more efficient, and have that person, not replacing, but have them to be able to do something else and then increase your profits. Because here's the thing, you're not doing it, but your competitor is.
That's
right,
true.
exactly.
My
So Gilbert, you got to
co-host
get with Lisa, man, because you got to get up there. Because
My
I've been telling her
co-host
I'm
has
doing.
been she's been instructing and guiding me on the AI space, so I've been following her lead. So
Yeah, I'm the closet geek person. So
I love it.
if I hadn't gone into the accounting field, and I had been encouraged to go into tech, computers, I probably would have. I would have been good at that because I love breaking down the system and figuring out how to use it, and then going out and how to use it and incorporate it in. But that Gilbert's like, okay.
Yes, well,
keep
you
my
definitely
little
would have been crazy.
ninja
Yeah,
man. She
Gilbert, we
gets
can't
out
have
there
you
and get
running from
things.
technology.
Yeah,
We
he
Yeah.
can't
can't be
have you running
running.
from
So
tech.
Lisa, help him out. To keep getting him.
Look what happened to AT&T and Kodak for running in Blockbusters for not
Yeah,
accepting that. I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Lisa,
Well,
it's been awesome, awesome. Thank you for joining us today. I've enjoyed this. We're gonna get it so it's marketing all over, and I'm gonna actually send it to my clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally send it to my clients so that they can make sure that they are taking care of business, because I can see what happens in their accounts because I'm in their accounts, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And they're like, I don't know. What?
Yeah, it's really important overall. So no, definitely. I've had so much fun. I look forward to coming back. And no, we got to stay protected and we got to look out for each other too. So
You'll
Exactly.
definitely be back. And the thing that I love about this is, the Google, the Microsoft, all those people, when something goes wrong, you cannot call them. They're not going to answer a
they
phone.
do not answer the
You know
phones
where to
at
access
all.
them. But
At
with
all.
Lisa, you can access her. And that's what I like, guys. She's my
Yeah.
Yes.
champion. So we'll do this. So for those of you who are just listening to the show and you enjoy the show, you liked it, there's much more like this every week. So, and again, since we're going to have Miss Lisa Brown as a resident guest on our show, once you keep tuning in, you will get to her at some point. I did put her information in the chat, guys. I put her name, her company's name, which is Platinum Technology Group. And just reach out to her. Her phone number is also there in the chat, guys. So make sure you do a screenshot of that right now before we go off the air. Because once we go off the air, you could go to YouTube afterwards because the show is
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
read.
make sure it's in
Yeah,
the description
and
of
you'll
the
find her
YouTube.
phone number. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. And
go
Lisa,
ahead.
I actually do a Thursday podcast. It's called the Community Briefing.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and I actually launched it in during the pandemic because I wanted to make sure our
2020.
community in 2020 that our community knew where to find the money that everybody was saying that
Right.
they were giving to our community.
Right.
But it's then stayed on. So what we do is we introduce those leaders and stakeholders that are in our community working for the small business community and us, and so introducing you to them. So that one I do on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. It's on
Okay.
Zoom. So I'm gonna
Okay.
have and I have a producer over there. So I'm gonna have a Stephen reach out to you to find a date.
Okay.
I'd love to have you come on that one as well. That one reaches out to a lot of the community leaders and organization leaders that are out there, and small, micro, and big ones. And
Right.
so we've had some number of great people. So right now we're talking about the elections and what we need to do to galvanize as a community. The whole goal of it was for us to come together as a unit and
Mm-hmm.
operate using that one voice. So I have 4 different colleagues of mine that I work with in the community. And so we reach out to all of our networks
Okay.
collectively.
Perfect.
And so that would be I would love to introduce you and have you come on and talk about this because it affects all of us.
No, absolutely. I would love to. And the community is important to me. I mean, this is why I'm doing it specifically with small businesses and on them. But this election thing is, we definitely, for now, for our communities, we definitely have to, and we're going to have to do something that we may not be uncomfortable with is actually go vote in person.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Or
After,
or
yeah.
as I do, I drive mine right on up to Norwalk and drop it in at the
Right,
desk.
that too.
Yeah,
Not using the post office, not the
yeah,
post
my
office.
co-host does that every year. She drives over there
I drive
and
all the
makes
way to
it pick up,
Norwalk,
drops it
and if
in,
they
takes
let
a
me come
picture
in,
of
I
it.
take it all the way up to the second floor where they are and lay it on the desk. When Obama, I took it both times, laid it on the desk. I know I ain't doing it this way. I'm going on
Yeah.
it. I want to go inside.
Yes, yes. And with that being said, making sure for us California folks, November, this special election in November coming up soon.
Yeah,
We,
we have a number of town hall meetings going on right now. In fact, I got to send out a letter today, uh, uh, getting people activated to protest either with their dollars or send letters to all the representatives and get this. We got to get 50 passed, and then after that, we got to work on making sure that we
yeah,
keep California blue, liberal,
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So no, we definitely do.
uh,
Yeah.
very. Yeah, we'll be doing
So I
weekly
just want to let you guys
town hall
know
meetings, and
again.
bringing all our organizations together.
Okay.
I just want to let our audience know again. We want to say thanks to Gugu and Pat, and also Tyrone Austin. Mr. Austin, we're happy to see you back here on our podcast, because you've been being a ninja watcher, staying in the background, not saying anything, but now you're saying something today. So thank you, Mr. Austin. I appreciate you. And for those of you other viewers who were ninja watchers and not contributing to the conversation, I know you were listening. I know you're listening to the tips that Miss Lisa Brown gave you. So thank you guys, appreciate it. And just click that subscribe button, and my co-host has a QR code on the screen, so check it out.
Exactly. So, and go over to YouTube. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And we are out for the week. We will be back next week, but you can actually go online to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn to see this video again. And then I'm going to be putting some shorts out all throughout the week. So, Lisa, thank you so much. It's been awesome having you, and we welcome you back whenever you want to be here, sharing with us, and I will get that information. You're incredible, lady.
Oh, thank you so much, Crystal and Gilbert both. I love it. I had an amazing time, and I definitely look forward to coming back.
All righty. All right, everybody. We're about to sign off. Gilbert, you want to...
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.